There is only one corner of the universe you can be certain of improving, and that's your own self. There are things known and there are things unknown, and in between are the doors of perception. Beauty is worse than wine, it intoxicates both the holder and beholder. The propagandist's purpose is to make one set of people forget that certain other sets of people are human. Experience is not what happens to you, it's what you do with what happens to you. The more powerful and original a mind, the more it will incline towards the religion of solitude. That men do not learn very much from the lessons of history is the most important of all the lessons of history. Perhaps it's good for one to suffer. Can an artist do anything if he's happy? Would he ever want to do anything? What is art, after all, but a protest against the horrible inclemency of life? Most ignorance is vincible ignorance. We don't know because we don't want to know. The quality of moral behavior varies in inverse ratio to the number of human beings involved. Everyone who wants to do good to the human race always ends in universal bullying. Consistency is contrary to nature, contrary to life. The only completely consistent people are dead. One of the great attractions of patriotism, it fulfills our worst wishes. In the person of our nation we are able, vicariously, to bully him. A democracy which makes or even effectively prepares for modern, scientific war must necessarily cease to be democratic. No country can be really well prepared for modern war unless it is governed by a tyrant, at the head of a highly trained and perfectly obedient bureaucracy. Every man who knows how to read has it in his power to magnify himself, to multiply the ways in which he exists, to make his life full, significant and interesting. Science has explained nothing. The more we know the more fantastic the world becomes and the profounder the surrounding darkness. The impulse to cruelty is, in many people, almost as violent as the impulse to sexual love, almost as violent and much more mischievous. If human beings were shown what they're really like, they'd either kill one another as vermin, or hang themselves. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you mad. The secret of genius is to carry the spirit of the child into old age, which means never losing your enthusiasm. Technological progress has merely provided us with more efficient means for going backwards. It is a bit embarrassing to have been concerned with the human problem all one's life and find at the end that one has no more to offer by way of advice than, try to be a little kinder. The most shocking fact about war is that its victims and its instruments are individual human beings, and that these individual beings are condemned by the monstrous conventions of politics to murder or be murdered in quarrels not their own. The most valuable of all education is the ability to make yourself do the thing you have to do, when it has to be done, whether you like it or not. Facts do not cease to exist because they are ignored. There isn't any formula or method. You learn to love by loving, by paying attention and doing what one thereby discovers has to be done. Great is truth, but still greater, from a practical point of view, is silence about truth. By simply not mentioning certain subjects, totalitarian propagandists have influenced opinion much more effectively than they could have by the most eloquent denunciations. Cynical realism is the intelligent man's best excuse for doing nothing in an intolerable situation. Hell isn't merely paved with good intentions, it's walled and roofed with them. Yes, and furnished too. The worst enemy of life, freedom and the common decencies is total anarchy. Their second worst enemy is total efficiency. I'm afraid of losing my obscurity. Genuineness only thrives in the dark. Like celery. My fate cannot be mastered, it can only be collaborated with and thereby, to some extent, directed. Nor am I the captain of my soul, I am only its noisiest passenger. What is absurd and monstrous about war is that men who have no personal quarrel should be trained to murder one another in cold blood. People intoxicate themselves with work so they won't see how they really are. The vast majority of human beings dislike and even actually dread all notions with which they are not familiar. Hence it comes about that at their first appearance innovators have generally been persecuted, and always derided as fools and madmen. Defined in psychological terms, a fanatic is a man who consciously overcompensates a secret doubt. A man may be a pessimistic determinist before lunch and an optimistic believer in the will's freedom after it. A bad book is as much of a labor to write as a good one, it comes as sincerely from the author's soul. a belief in hell and the knowledge that every ambition is doomed to frustration at the hands of a skeleton have never prevented the majority of human beings from behaving as though death were no more than an unfounded rumor. Idealism is the noble toga that political gentlemen drape over their will to power.